Sorry, I forgot how to start the show. Hello and welcome to REKT Podcast. I am Bunchu alongside my esteemed colleague and co-host, Crypto Chamber. Chamber, how are you doing, buddy?
Buddy, I am excited to be speaking with you. It has been centuries.
It feels that way, huh?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's been a long time. I am very excited. We got up nice and early to talk to each other. So, how are you doing, man?
I'm tired.
I hear you.
I have been on the road. Literally, I have not been in my home since last Sunday. So that would be the, 11th or 12th. And I got home last night. I went to Orlando for our company sales meeting. And that was till Thursday. Then I flew to Charleston, South Carolina, a place where I had never been, which was pretty cool, for a buddy's wedding. And that was a 3-day event and party. And then I arrived home yesterday evening at around 7 o'clock and slept for 11 hours.
Jeepers.
Now I got to go out again tonight and for the next 2 days.
Ugh.
Yeah,
I was complaining about my schedule, but
they don't pay me enough for this.
I traveled the majority of last week. I felt bad about it, and then I talked to you, and I'm like, oh, shit, I'm not too bad.
But anyway, that's it, and we are back in full swing. We got 2 shows for you this week, 2 next week, and all of that on top of our launch of Coin HQ. How's that been going?
Actually, surprisingly well. You're always hesitant with these types of things, and the feedback's been great. We're getting a ton of visits to the website, a lot of buzz. It's happening.
It's wonderful when a plan comes together, right?
It sure is. It sure is.
But anyway, let's get started here with a little bit. So, this happens every time we have a long hiatus. Mm-hmm. We come back with a bunch of stories like that we sure can't wait to tell each other, right? So, and which I can't wait to tell everybody listening. So I had a real life REKT for the ages. So we're gonna start with some real life REKT. Riggedy REKT, son. So I gave you a sneak peek of what this.
You did. I am on the edge of my seat right now.
So I don't know if I should sneak peek it like that or if I should just tell the whole story like it. All right. So it's Friday night, and I'm thinking that I just might go to this wedding welcome reception, right?
Okay.
So we're at this welcome reception, and my buddy that's getting married is kind of a wild kid, and like the type of wedding that he had doesn't fit. Like we were like, I can't believe this is his wedding.
You snapped me a picture. You were in
white tie affair. It was he was in like tux with tails and his groomsmen, all that, whatever. So anyway, wild bunch. And so he comes up to me with one of his buddies that I've never met. And we're at this thing and he goes, O'Rourke, I need you to do something for me tomorrow at the wedding. He's like, it's the only thing I'm going to ask you to do.
And this is the groom. This is the groom.
Yes, this is the groom. So okay. when the groom asks you that,
you gotta do it.
You gotta do it. So
you come to me on the day of my wedding.
He's like, I just need you to serve my friend some papers.
Some papers.
I was like, what? He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah. So I'm gonna give you a document tomorrow, and you have to pretend like you're, I don't know we know what they're called, like the service agents.
The Seth Rogen character from Pineapple Express.
Exactly, that serves people subpoenas.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, they're playing a prank on their buddy, and okay, whatever. Yeah, sure, I'll do it. And so the next day comes around, the wedding comes around, and I'm thinking like, okay, they forgot or they're not going to do it or whatever. They come and find me, and they're like, all right, here's the guy. And they point him out, and they're like, here's the document. And they're like, do it however you want, but just let us know so we can video it. So This whole event is on video. And so I'm like stalking my prey at this point. Like, all right, when should I get him? So I've never met him. He has no clue who I am. And he gets in the food line, like the buffet line.
Right.
So I go up behind him in the buffet line. I was like, man, this is a great wedding, huh? And he's like, yeah, it's like really great. I'm like, oh, my name's Joe. What's yours? He's like, oh, I'm Paul. I'm like, Paul Williams? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, so you're confirming you're Paul Williams? And he goes, yes. I reach into my pocket and I hand him this document. I go, you've been served. And I just walk out of the tent. Like, I just literally like walk directly out of the tent. And then this is on video. So like he looks around and he just goes, who the fuck was that guy? And so then his buddies are still like videoing this, and turns out I go back to my seat and I'm laughing because everybody was thinking it was great, it was funny, and it worked out exactly how they wanted. And so I'm like retelling this story to one of my buddies and that I'm sitting next to, and as I'm telling the story, the groom comes over and I was like, yeah, I don't know. I was like, who wrote up the fake document? Like, what was it? He goes, oh no, that wasn't fake. I was like, what?
What?
He's like, yeah, he's being sued for paternity. I'm like,
oh my goodness.
I'm like, what? I'm like, how did you not tell me this?
How is this legal,
thing?
first of all?
So I guess it's not like it wasn't like a full-on subpoena. It was his like basically just paternity documents, and I guess it's like one of their friends that's suing the other one. It's like the weirdest.
And they're both at the wedding?
I don't know if they were both at the wedding. I don't think so. I think one was and one wasn't. And I don't know, man. But I felt so bad.
I bet. That's insane.
I had no idea that this was real. And so,
did you talk to the guy afterwards?
Yeah, I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. Like, I was under the impression that it was fake and it was just a prank. I'm like, I totally wouldn't have done that otherwise. I feel so terrible. He's like, I would expect nothing less from these guys. So
that's insane.
I told you it was pretty.
That's very funny though. I like this groom. He is.
He's one of the best.
This is good people.
I don't even call him. We don't even call him his real name. We call him Glow Daddy.
Glow Daddy.
Yes, and we were at Glow
understand.
Daddy's and so that was my real life REKT of the week.
So I have an interesting one. It is definitely a REKT story. So as I mentioned, I was away the majority of last week, and we were at our national sales conference. And during these national sales conferences, everybody from across Canada comes, and it's a good time, and you get to kind of see people.
There was 1,500 of ours at ours.
Oh no, there wasn't. Maybe there was 100 at mine.
Oh my god.
Yeah, 1,500 is ridiculous. So you get to see some people that you don't typically see very often, and the guy that got me into Bitcoin back in November of 2017.
Oh, he was a work friend?
He's absolutely work friend. So he works on the
different than Brian.
Different than Brian. Yeah. That's funny. Yes, this is different than Brian. So this guy works on the East Coast in the Maritimes. So I don't see him very often. I basically only see him at these events. And I think he missed last year, so I didn't get to chat with him then. So, you know, we're at kind of the first dinner. We're at this like a cow, like we were in the mountains, so we got sent to this like ranch where there was like live music, and it was just us like in this like barn kind of thing. It was kind of cool. Anyways, so we're kind of in line and getting our food, and we decide, hey, let's just grab a table for you and me. We haven't chatted in a while. And, you know, we start talking about Bitcoin. He's like, you know, you still in Bitcoin? And I'm like, yeah. And I start explaining to him, like, yeah, you know, we started this podcast, and you know, we just launched this network of content creators. And he's looking at me, and his eyes are just like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, I've been licking my wounds. Like, he hasn't purchased any Bitcoin. He is, you know, the prototypical top buyer, bottom seller, if you will. Right. And hasn't purchased a thing since 2017.
Wow.
Has been licking his wounds, is never touching Bitcoin ever again, and was just like, it was such it was like looking at it in an opposite mirror, if you will. I'm like, he's like, you did what? You kept going? And I'm like, yeah, I kept going like an idiot. And then, yeah, I said, thank goodness, you know, we started this podcast, and I said that, you know, that has helped. And we started, you know, I started talking Bitcoin, and it was just like, he didn't know nothing about it anymore. Like, we were talking about how, you know, what the market was doing. I said, oh, you know, we touched on 14K, and, you know, it seems like it's going to be rallying up soon. And he's looking at me like, fuck you, I am getting the fuck out of this. Don't even talk to me about this. So it was probably the first crypto chat we had since then, or, you know what I mean, maybe early 2018.
Well, he probably had a ton in BitConnect.
He did. I don't know how much he lost. I know he probably had, I want to say, like 15 grand.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was a big number. So, you know, we were just talking about how, you know, how embarrassing it is, you know, considering the time we got in. I said, absolutely. You know, he's like, you know, he kind of chalked it up as an expensive life lesson. And, you know, me being the sucker for pain that I am, I just kind of plowed through. And, you know, who knows? It might work out for me. It might work out better for him in the long run. Time will tell.
Oh, but that's a great story.
I thought that was, I didn't realize we hadn't really chatted about what I've been doing in crypto, or the fact that I've just, you know, continued to be involved in it. But yeah, the look on his face was just like, what are you what it was the I think you should leave. Like, it was just like he had what? Yeah, exactly. It was so good. But yeah, so it was an interesting conversation, and I think he felt both proud that he got me in, and also jealous that I stayed in. You know what I mean?
Oh, he was jealous?
I think there was a hint of like, shit, I wish I had also kind of pushed through. You know what I mean? Envious.
Him, like,
more envious than jealousy, I would say.
Right, because for him, it's like, all right, well, I just lost a bunch of money and got nothing else from it.
Right, exactly. I lost a bunch of money, but I have Twitter friends now.
Right, and you have. I bet you talked about your Twitter followers.
Did I actually? I don't think I talked. Like, I don't think I talked. I spoke more of surprised. The podcast. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to flex too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you know. I was hoping that this story was gonna go like into, you know, he has kind of stuck around, and he's like, you know, maybe he's not too involved, but he
is aware of a person named Chamber on Twitter.
Right. Right. Exactly.
I wish that would have been best case scenario. I would.
That's what I was hoping for.
No, he was. Yeah, he was totally oblivious.
You're the REKT podcast?
I knew that voice.
So I was talking to somebody at this wedding about the podcast because they actually listened to it, and
really,
he was floored when I told him that we had never met.
Interesting. I always think that's impressive too.
He goes, he's like, yeah, I meant to ask you which one he was at your wedding. And I was like, oh no, he wasn't at my wedding.
No, this guy don't do weddings.
There's no tux big enough for this, man.
No way, man.
Anyway, well, those are some good real life REKT stories. I love when they pile up like that and you can just get a real.
I'm sure we'll pull more as the weeks go by. That was my number one off the top of my head. I wanted to talk to you about. I'm sure I'll get some more.
All right, let's get into a little bit of news. Going to start us off here, sir?
I am going to start us off. This one, I like this one. This is from the block Crypto. And bear with me, I just realized that I have not put on my glasses this morning, so I'm like an old man staring at my screen about, hello,
what's the cock Crypto?
What's a crypto? This is Bitcoin's, quote, Twitter sentiment, unquote, data gets rolled out by blockchain data firm. New Zealand-based blockchain data and research firm Brave New Coin, BNC, has launched a new metric.
I think they sponsor...
Yeah, this is Ledger, the LedgerCast sponsor, and I believe Josh works for them as well. Mm-hmm. This isn't written by Josh. I don't know what he does there. I don't know if he just does writing or what, but this is by Yogita Khatri. New Zealand-based blockchain data and research firm Brave New Coin has launched a new metric for Bitcoin, dubbed, quote, Twitter sentiment. The metric analyzes over 34 million Bitcoin-related tweets every week, BNC announced on Monday. The firm uses artificial intelligence algorithms that search for tweets containing words such as Bitcoin, hashtag BTC, and just BTC, among others. BNC said sentiment continues to be a significant factor in the price and momentum of digital assets, and hence it has developed the metric. It took over 18 months of work to launch Bitcoin's Twitter sentiment data, said BNC, adding that the data is divided into 7 categories. Those categories are opinion, technical, on-chain, adverts, bots, macro, and hack events. For the week ending January 17th, the opinion category led the chart, constituting 30.42%, followed by technical analysis and on-chain mining and hash rate tweets. All categories are in the green. BNC spokesman Pierre Ansaldi said the firm will roll out sentiment analysis for other cryptocurrencies as well in the first quarter of this year. BNC provides various data and for cryptocurrency markets. Last year, the firm partnered with NASDAQ to add its Bitcoin and Ether indicators to the stock exchange operators global data service. So I love the fact that they're using Twitter to gauge sentiment.
What I took away from this is that you could have a direct impact.
I absolutely can. But I just think it just really speaks volumes to how many like when you're looking at crypto social medias, that it's obvious that Twitter is the one. Like if you're in crypto. Right. And you're not on Twitter, you're doing it wrong, because this is where all the sentiment is.
Totally. And you're just going to put out bullish tweets like, Viva la hashtag BTC.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, this chamber guy seems to know what's going on.
He's really got his finger on the pulse of the Bitcoin sentiment.
I love it. So yeah, I we always think this is the case, but when you see these companies actually adding it to the bigger picture, it really kind of speaks volumes.
Very interesting. Look out for Chambers' bullish tweets. He's going to start using hashtag BTC for everything, and you'll see him on this chart.
Yeah, absolutely. The chamber effect.
The chamber effect. Ooh, I like that. All right, I got one here also from the block Crypto. Libra won't launch in 2020. Majority of 2020 Outlook survey respondents say. So we've been going back and forth on this a while back on, do you think it would launch in 2020? I think I said it wouldn't.
I'm sure I said it would because I'm bullish AF.
Hashtag BTC. Bullish AF smiley emoji. Hashtag BTC.
Hashtag Moonboy.
So it says most respondents to the block's 2020 Outlook survey believe that Libra won't launch this year. 70%, 72 or 67.9% of them said no, whether Libra will launch in 2020. And, the remainder said yes. While the survey didn't focus on the possible factors that might determine where Libra goes live, recent developments around the project hint at potential headwinds. Earlier this month, the president of Germany's central bank, Jens Weidmann, called on banks to develop faster, cheaper payments offering to counter Libra. I also just read this morning that I think it's Australia looking to potentially ban Libra now.
I saw that too, yeah.
So Libra still in the news, still controversial. What are your thoughts? Anything changed on your Libra opinion lately?
No, I mean, I'm getting mixed emotions from it, whether it will or will not actually, in fact, launch. I'm not sure anymore. I'm really doubting.
Yeah. I'm still playing that conspiracy theory hat.
You know what? That's so far that makes the most sense to me.
And you love conspiracy theories.
I do love conspiracies.
Yeah. So, all right.
Remind me to bring that up later because I got to add something at the end of the show.
You got to add something at the end of the show?
Yeah, I forgot to mention something early on.
Oh, you want to do it now?
No, we'll keep it for the end.
Okay. All right. Last news piece here. Also from the block. Bitcoin miners made an estimated $5 billion in revenue during 2019.
Woo!
So how's that number seem to you?
That is a big number. That is a big number.
The world's Bitcoin miners brought in an estimated $5 billion in revenue during 2019. Of that figure, $4.89 billion was in the form of block rewards. The 12.5 BTC generated every time a new transaction block is created. And then the rest, 146 million, was made via transaction fees. Oh, I think that's pretty interesting to note. So,
I agree.
Only 146 million of that is transaction fees. So as it becomes more difficult to win blocks, what's going to happen to that? Because that to me says that transaction fees alone are not sustainable for these gigantic operations.
No, I mean those transaction fees will undoubtedly go up. Remember back in the
not to make the difference up between 146 million.
Probably not. I mean, you would need a lot of transactions,
right?
Yeah.
That reward number is set to change later this year with the halving, going down to 6.25. So the 5 billion represents a decline actually in 2018's revenue, when miners made an estimated 5.6 billion, 26 billion, and then. But it's more than 2017, where there was 3.19 billion. So that's pretty interesting. The figure, okay, so this is interesting too, how they calculate that. This is assuming that miners sell their Bitcoin immediately. So it may not be the most accurate number out there.
I see.
Because you may get people that hold. But that's really the only way to calculate.
Right.
I mean, that's how you calculate for taxes, right? Pretty much. So, interesting. So, I think, what that tells me is there's going to be bigger, better, faster mining farms out there to compete with these block rewards because halving is going down,
I was just having a conversation with a miner earlier this morning and did not understand one word they were saying.
What were you talking about?
I was talking to SoCal this morning, chatting with him, and he was talking about this new miner that he wanted, and I was just like, he explained it extremely well, and I did not know what he was talking about.
But like that's the thing, right? You're gonna need to be able to upgrade all this equipment and everything.
Yeah,
and
he was talking about. Here, I'll tell you exactly. It was like a special ASIC reprogrammable miner. I don't know. It was very complicated, and he was very excited about it. But I don't know. He's a very smart man when it comes to that, at least. I'm not sure about anything. I can definitely vouch for his intelligence once it comes to miners.
Love you. Oh, boy. Anyway.
But, yeah. So I'm still not getting into mining because that conversation definitely scared me away again.
Word. All right. That's going to do it for us for news. We've got one more stop on the segment train, and then we're going to get out of here, keeping it short and sweet. Do you want to interject on your conspiracy theory now?
So it's not a conspiracy. It's more of an announcement, but it's kind of in that vein of, those conspiracies that I like.
Chambers launching his Bigfoot podcast.
It's you know what? You're not far off. So I don't know if you remember. I don't know if it was last Halloween or the Halloween before that. We would tell kind of spooky stories that have happened to us in the past.
Yes.
You remember this?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I like spooky stuff. I like paranormal stuff. I love conspiracy stuff. But in my entire life, really only one thing has happened, and I told that story about kind of seeing what I thought was like a ghost while driving on the highway, kind of sitting on the median and just kind of watching cars go by.
Creepy.
I was listening to another podcast, and it turns out that what I saw was this guy in jeans and like a flannel shirt, just kind of sitting on the median on like a huge highway with literally like in between cities. So it's kind of like a farmland area. And so there was no way that the guy, I didn't see a car kind of,
right, like on the side of the road.
On the side of the road,
like chilling in the median.
The person would have had to walk through a field, like cross like a highway where everybody's doing like 70 miles an hour at least,
right,
and then just sit in the middle of it and watch cars go by. Which even that, if it was just a real person, is a fucking weird thing to do.
Correct.
So, both my wife and I saw this guy kind of in our peripherals as we drove by, and about 30 seconds after, kind of looked at each other like, "What the fuck was that?" And we both kind of described it as this guy just sitting there, and he kind of did look out of place in time. Like he kind of looked like he had like a 70s, 80s look to him. So that was kind of my ghost story, and that was for years. It's probably like 10 years ago this happened, and I happened to be listening to this podcast, and apparently there's a phenomena out there. Like, are you familiar with like Mothman and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So kind of in the same vein, this person's called Flannel Man. No joke.
Flannel Man.
So apparently there are people that see like a man in flannel, usually like a lumberjack looking guy, like red and black flannel, bearded guy. And it's kind of like a watcher, or like somebody that comes before like a disaster, or like you know what I mean? Like kind of like one of those things.
Yeah.
And and they were explaining it, and I was having like ice was rolling through my veins as they were explaining it. I immediately played it for my wife, and she had the exact same reaction. And she's not one of these people. She's closer to you than to me. And she's like, "What the fuck?" So anyways, I reached out, and I did, flex a little podcast clout. I said, "Hey,
wow.
no big deal."
Hi, I don't know if you know who I am, but
I'm kind of a big deal. So anyways, I started chatting with the guy for this podcast. Turns out next Monday, I'm going to be going on his show to discuss my encounter. So it was
wow.
So it was interesting. So I'll give you guys a rundown once I get back, and we'll have a better story. And we'll make sure to I'll share it with everybody so you guys can laugh at me.
Yeah, and then
but I'm sure we're going to
PTC it, so it goes.
I'm sure we're also going to talk about the Mandela effect and big feet.
Oh my god, I can't wait!
It's going to be
please
nonstop.
At least bring up. I mean, if you're talking Mandela effect, you got to bring up the Shazam.
Oh, 100%. Like that. And that's what I'm going to tell him. I'm like, I hadn't had that feeling of like ice rolling through my veins since the time that I found out about the Sinbad thing. Like,
that's so funny.
So it's 100% coming up. So yeah, it'll be
amazing.
Definitely
well, that's
must
exciting.
Listen. Yeah. So that was my announcement.
Cool. That's pretty cool. So our last little segment here is recommendations. You got one for us?
I sure do. REKT. REKT. The number one. I have two. I hopefully I don't steal yours. I'll give you one. You give me one.
If you do, then that's a double recommendation.
All right.
Double the
so
power.
The first thing I would recommend is The Outsider on HBO.
I've been hearing about this. What is it?
It's a Stephen King novel. I just finished about maybe 2 or 3 months ago. It was one of my favorites that I've ever read. And as I'm reading it, about halfway through, I find out that HBO is going to be putting out this series, and with Jason Bateman as the executive producer, the director, the main character. It's got an all-star, like the acting in it is insane. It's kind of like if you like True Detective, you will probably like this. Season one True Detective.
Okay.
So it's kind of in that vein. It's fucking amazing. So highly recommend.
All right.
What's yours?
So I just watched on the plane the other day on Netflix.
I know exactly what you're gonna say because this is my second one too. I guarantee it.
Really?
Yeah.
The Aaron Hernandez doc?
100%. It's so good.
Okay, there you go.
It's so good.
Okay, good.
Continue.
So, I mean, there's nothing left to say if you agree. So, if you haven't watched it yet,
you're an NFL guy, right?
Huge. Yeah.
I'm not. I knew of Aaron Hernandez. So you went in this with mostly no knowledge of it. I would say 15% knowledge.
Oh, so this must have blew you away.
Blew me away, especially the ending, because I didn't know what happened.
I didn't know the ending. Well, I knew, part of the ending, but I didn't know, they kind of made it a narrative there, which I didn't really know about. So
I didn't know any of the ending.
Yeah.
So it's phenomenal. If you're not into sports, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It's so good. That's typically something I would watch on my own. And I told my wife, I'm like, no, we got to rewatch this. You're going to like this. It's very similar to if you ever listen to Serial, or it reminds me of that that first season of Serial.
Also, it's just fascinating to see how someone like Aaron Hernandez, who was, $40 million contract,
right?
Superstar tight end for the most popular team in the NFL.
Right. It's like O.J. Simpson, but a notch above.
But when he's playing,
exactly, it's not.
That's a big difference.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. So that was. I'm glad we had the same one there because
I was gonna say, because if you hadn't watched that, I would have I said, let's stop the show right now. Go binge all 3 episodes.
No, it was good. So yeah, it's 3 episodes. They're about an hour each. The last one's a little longer, but you can knock it out in a day. But it is very much worth it. Even if you know the whole story, there's a lot of stuff that is new or comes at it from a different angle.
Right.
Things that I didn't know. And then there's, conversations of his jailhouse phone calls and stuff, which
it's
are
unreal.
Fascinating.
That conversation with his mother.
Yes, I know exactly which one you're talking about.
It's crazy. And it's almost better if you don't even know any of the story. Just go in. If you're listening to this right now and you're like, I have no idea who this guy is, stop what you're doing. Just go watch it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But all right, so that's a good spot. We got the recommendation on the nose for both of us. So do you got anything else?
I don't think so. I got to wait for Home Depot. I think Home Depot is going to be here any second. I've been rushing through this one.
All right. That's perfect. So anyway, we will be back on Thursday with a new episode. We were on this person's podcast a couple weeks ago. And we're going to have him on ours, I don't know, he has so much structure to his podcast.
He's going to have fun.
I don't know what we're going to do with him.
We got to figure it out.
If you don't know who I'm talking about, it's Charles from the Crypto Entrepreneurs podcast. We will have him on this week as well. So that'll be our Thursday episode. And that's it. So Until next time, don't get wrecked, and that is financial advice.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening. You can help support us by giving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and become a REKT patron by signing up for a monthly tier on patreon.com. That's patreon.com/REKT podcast. Don't get wrecked.